Hey guys, before we get this live stream started and we start building out a brand new web application that I'm working on, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Dev Mountain Coding Bootcamp. I've had the pleasure of going to Dev Mountain for going to their campus, I should say, as well as being part of one of their online programs when they still used to do that, and I was really impressed by it, and I really love their campus. It's gorgeous, but they have not only do they have multiple locations, they also include housing with their tuition. So if that's something you're interested in, go to devmountain.com and check it out. With that being said, let's go ahead and get our live stream started for the day. So, how's everybody doing? I haven't been really feeling like making videos, but I've been feeling like streaming more than usual. And so I think I'm going to start a series called Weekend Web App. And what that's basically going to be is, here, let me hide my camera for a second. What that's basically going to be is I've been wanting to build a couple side projects. So I've been coding on like a couple things on the side, and I think I'm trying to go get something out of my. I've been building some things on the side, or had some theory crafting, some ideas, and so I think what I'm going to do is just start live streaming on the weekends, me building the web apps, taking questions, stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to support me, while I do it, that's great. If not, at the very least, I'm going to build a web app. I'm trying to go get a file for it right now. Good morning. Good morning to you, Enzo. Here we are. So I have this idea for a documentation site, and we're gonna essentially build it out right now. I'm going to go get the images for it right now. So I'll show you real quick what we're gonna be building for we'll probably try to get the homepage done today. But so the idea here is, for a while I've been wanting to build like a W3 schools, but with video, if that makes sense. And so I think we're gonna do a dark theme. So I had this little mock-up made of what a basic homepage would be just to get it going. So that's what we're going to try to build today. Nothing crazy, and we're going to ad-lib what we're going to put here because we're not going to have user. We're going to put some icons here. I don't really like this nesting of here. And the goal is to release with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for it. But this is the general idea. So this is what we're going to be building today. I'll try to answer questions as I go. But we're going to be doing this in Angular 8. But that's the general gist of it. So, with that being said, let me get the camera set up here, turn the music on. The music's going to be play your own music, so this doesn't get demonetized because this is going to be a full series. If you want to know what I'm listening to, go ahead and search for Haywire, HAYWYRE, Twofold Part 1. That's what I'm listening to. I'll throw it up in the chat for you guys as well. But with that being said, I'm going to start building some shit, man. That's what I'm looking to do. Alright, cool. So, Alright, so I've installed the latest version of Angular. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go create a project. I'm going to call this video-docs, or ng new video-docs. This is going to go and create all of our dependencies. This will take just a second. You'll notice the color scheme is completely based off Visual Studio Code's dark theme. That's kind of by intent. So once this gets created, first thing we're going to do here is go into our source folder, go into our app. We're just gonna start deleting all this shit that we don't need. We're also gonna delete this. Cool. Might as well install an update while we're at it. What am I going to make? This. Just a home page. So there's 4 or 5 things we're going to make for this home page. We're going to make this footer component. We're going to make this router view. We're going to make a menu system. And then the only thing we may not touch is this, mainly because search is going to come much later. And this is going to come much later. So we'll figure out something. So it may just be a menu. This eventually will be here, but that functionality is not gonna be there quite yet. So all right, now that that's going, we're gonna cd into our video docs. Go ahead and close that. I don't care about any of that. We're gonna npm run serve, or npm start actually. Excuse me. This is gonna launch our development server, and yeah, I'll actually throw it up on the screen here. But now that we've done that, we've cleared that out, come into here, clear this out. Cool. All right. All right. Everything's good to go. What I'm gonna do to make it easier, so you can use it. There's this browser preview thing here. So this is going to launch on localhost 4200, and it should be a hot reload. So if I do something like h1 hello, you can see that's going to reflect right here. So you can see what I'm building as I build it. Cool. So like I said, there's a couple different parts here. I think the easiest thing to do is let's go ahead and tackle the footer. So in our main app component, I am going to create a new folder called components. And in here, I'm going to create a new folder in components called footer. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and create in here a folder called, what do we want to call this? Maybe side nav. And yeah, that's good. We'll start with the footer. So our footer is going to have a couple different things. It's going to have and you know what I should actually be doing is I always harp on testing. So while we're at it, let's actually just define a quick test here for app component. Gotta lead by example, you know what I'm saying? What extension is that? It's called browser preview. Normally I don't use it, but when I use tutorials, I use it. Yeah, if you go and find it. Now it does have some shortcomings, like I'm right clicking here. You can't go and inspect. So, but if you're not too worried about that, obviously you can just throw it in there. But browser preview. So I think they just built it. Like it's only got 3.5 stars, but it does what it does. Anyhow, it does what you would think it would do. All right, so we have our app component. The very first thing you're gonna do for your app component is just make sure that it exists for any component really. And so we're gonna do our assert, and we're going to make expect that app component is defined. Cool. Now what we want to do is while we're building, we're going to run our test in the background. So npm test. So this is going to run our test in the background. And typically what you would do is with your Chrome window, you'd have this over here. So as you write your code, you're not going to break anything. So you also want to typically, with components, make sure they can be built. Now, These first two tests don't really do too much, but more so just running them in the background. All right, cool. So now we have 2 successful tests, and I'm gonna close this for now. Cool. That's all we need to do for the app component. Now, footer. We're gonna build a footer. So footer's gonna have a couple files. We're gonna have a footer dot component dot scss. We're going to have a new file, footer dot component dot html. All your components, of course, will be we're gonna have a test file, and then we're going to have our main footer. So you have 4 files when dealing with components typically. And then we're gonna have .ts. Cool. Let's go ahead and just copy over what's in our app component over here, and for now, let's do something like that. Close all this. In a second, we're going to need our app module. Do I still work out? No. I went paddleboarding yesterday with some colleagues down the river. Oh my god, man. My abs are destroyed. All right, cool. So this should be SCSS. It's the only difference there. And let's go in our test file. Right now, why we're doing these tests is just to essentially set it up. We're not really actually doing anything with it, right? But down the road, as we go and create more advanced components that aren't just there to output data, that'll make more sense. Cool. As a designer / developer, how to find clients, build a personal brand, have them reach out to you is usually a good way of going about it. All right, cool. Test your passing again. There's that. Now we need to add it to our app module. Cool. All right. So with that, we should be able to, in our app component here, go ahead and create app-footer. Throw that there. All right. So first and foremost, we will go and create a, let's close a few of these. All right, so all we really need for this is this color, these icons, and this text. So we'll get the icons in a second. How long can you code before I need a break? Right now? Depends how into it I am. It really just depends, man. Cool. So you want to use the footer tag here. So I'm gonna make this, I like CSS Grid, so make everything a grid item. And in here, in our grid, we're gonna have a div social media. We'll come back to that. And then in here, we're gonna have a paragraph tag, and we'll call that, what do we want to call that? We don't need to call it anything. So we'll do like a copyright. What was it in the? All right, so yeah, copyright, but we don't want to hard code the year. So we want to do something like copyright 2019. And for now, we'll put in video docs and we'll come back to that. So, I gotta use the bathroom real quick, guys, and then we'll continue going. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go and make this number here dynamic. Alright, cool. So now we've done that, let's go ahead and handle this logic here. So we'll make it a get. And we'll call it current year. And this is going to return a number. So const year equals new date dot get full year turn year. Alright, so here instead of 2019, because we don't have to come back in 2020. Alright. Oh, there's no year. There's current year. Cool. Alright. Now, testing dates always kind of sucks because because you can't take a pure functional approach to it. But yeah. I'm just gonna write a test real quick for that. So what we're doing right here is we're just instantiating a new footer component for each one of the tests that's going to be in our general. So part of the reason this is kind of wonky is how you have to write this test, unless I was to create some sort of mocks. But most tests make a little bit more sense than this. So, you can see our tester passing. Cool. It's doing what we would expect it to do. We're basically rewrote this function. Not the coolest thing in the world. But now what we want to do is we want to, for the next part, we're going to, now that we have this, we're going to install Font Awesome to get these icons. Alright, cool. So let's go over to... Oh, this is because that's my testing thing. I was like, why doesn't it know Font Awesome? By the way, guys, if you're looking to prep for your front-end technical screens, check out my 100 front-end technical interview questions course. There's a link in the description where you can get it for just $10. Help you prep for all those technical screens, as well as my algorithm, of course, help you prep for all those whiteboard interviews. I don't want CDN, I want NPM. Here we go. All right, cool. So we're going to stop compiling our application, and we are now going to use NPM to install Font Awesome. Oh, -3, excuse me. Now that we've done that, we have to make sure that we add the CSS file, all.css. So while that's going, we're going to go to, there's a couple places we can add it. One is Angular JSON. There's a styles, global styles we include in build. We can include it here. We could also have it all compiled down into our style CSS. So like we could go into styles.css and import it here. This is how I personally prefer, although I use Sass. Let me make sure. CSS import. Is at import, right? At import you. I don't actually know which one's better, but more or less at import, that's fine. At import. And here we are going to do something like So we should have Fort Awesome in here. Oh, it's at Fort Awesome, isn't it? Let me just do this so I don't mistype anything. Copy path. Is there a reason I don't use git bash on VS Code? I do. I'm just running my test in it. So you can see, if you saw, I always have this little bit of code showing, total success 5. That's to, if something blows up, I can see it. I was like, oh, well, I overwrote some of my own logic. Let me go ahead and fix that. But yeah, it is. You can see it is right there. I suppose I could run more than one terminal with VS Code. I've also had some issues where I've ran stuff like that in the past. So let's make sure that. Let's see if this throws any errors. All right, and let's go to. I just want to check to make sure it can find that file. All right, cool. So if we set this up right, let's go ahead and get an icon real quick. Throw it in there, make sure everything's working. Not brands. We don't want brands. Although we did import all CSS, didn't we? All right, cool. All right, cool. Everything's set up, right? So next thing we need to do is actually go and get the icons that we want. And in my case, what I would like to do I want to make this its own component? I think I do. Do we want to make it its own component? Are we going to put social media anywhere else? As of now, no. Okay, I think this is fine. This is a relatively small component as is. All right. So, I'm totally going to rewrite this into its own component at some point. All right, so let's jump back to our... Actually, forget this list. I don't even need that. What was in our mock-up? We had YouTube. Excellent. All right, cool. That's one. Up next, we have GitHub. Cool. Cool. After that, we have LinkedIn, right? All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do some SAS real quick. So, and all right, so that should put them in line more or less. This is going to be easier if I just do it in the browser. Like I said, the one shortcoming of this is that. Okay, cool. Is that. I always get this. All right, cool. So justify items, justify content, and cool. All right. And then we want to align the item center. What do you think? Add a little bit of. We want to add a little bit of. What do you think that gap is about? 10 pixels? That looks about right. Cool. So, check this. Jump back into here. All right. Now the next thing that we want to do is in our social-media. Want like 20 pixels? You got it, boss. It's just hacking. This is like the MySpace days. I'm hacking it. I injected HTML. All right. We'll make this display grid. And we'll make. Let's give a grid dash gap of 5 pixels. And we'll say each one of these eyes display block. And then here we'll give something like dash. How's it going, Mark? Formerly known as Bitcode. I actually. That should be display grid. Yeah. Why isn't that? Alright, boys. Oh, did I not save the file? That could be it. Yeah. Alright, oh. Cool. Alright. Looks like it's a little bigger than 5px, right? Like 10 pixels? That looks better, right? Alright, cool. So now we have our columns. Have I had any luck finding a JavaScript developer for my company? I have not. We're actually hiring about 20 mid to senior level JavaScript developers. So, if you think you're ready, send me an email. I'll interview you. All right, cool. So next thing we have to do is get this color scheme. Hey, any good resources, better understand observable subscribers using RxJS? I'm not a big fan of RxJS, so I'm not a good resource for that. I think it's overkill for 99% of things, but people love it for whatever reason. So, it also breaks all the time. Like every single thing that breaks their import pass, it drives me nuts. But yeah, no, I don't have any good resources. Probably just practice, go through the documentation, see what it is that, just do a lot of research. Read some blog posts would probably be how I'd go about it. Okay. Oh, before we do that, we actually have to put the content in. We'll come back to putting the content in. Actually, it's not that hard, is it? Let me go pull my LinkedIn up. And go to my profile. Cool. We're gonna wrap each one of these. Alright, now one more thing we're going to do here is we're actually going to make the A tag display inline. Which means we're just going to go save that, jump back into here, wrap this in A tag. Oh my god. Alright, go to GitHub. For this, we're gonna do at my work, or for this, I guess it's gonna be the same thing. Full stack JavaScript. Yeah. All right. So here's that, and then we'll clean this up in a second. And then finally, we have YouTube. Yo, man, did anyone watch Joshua Fluke's Why He'll Never Work for as a developer video again? Oh my god. I watched that yesterday. It's a 40-minute video. Shit was rough, man. Good on him though. So like, one thing I did was sort of share my story about being a developer and like what it meant to me, and it was a very personal story, and he did what I would consider the equivalent of sharing sort of why he'd never be a developer again. And I have a lot of respect for the dude for sharing that. Good on him. Okay, cool. Let's talk about global style sheets. So, for one, what is it that we want? We want box dash sizing be border box globally. There we go. And also, we want to, by default, have margin set to 0 on everything. We don't want any default margin, which is what we were getting on that body and the paragraph tag. Do we want it for everything, though? No, I think we just want it on the body. So, like, there we go. So I removed some of the margin there. And for our anchor tags, we want... Oh my gosh. There we go. And so no tech decoration, and then we want to set the color to be inherit. So this is essentially our global style sheet, which is why we're putting it here. And there we go. Cool. All right, now that we've done that, we have this fully set up, and what we have to do is get the color schemes for this stuff. All right, yo, does anybody want to help a homie out real quick? Because this guy on Fiverr sent this as an Adobe Illustrator. I don't have Adobe Illustrator. And I need these colors and fonts out of the videodocs.xd file. If not, I can, I'll do this. So I think this is going to be our generic background color right here. So let's start there. So, I'm going to just use some CSS variables if we want to on our global style sheet for the background. So we want to set the background color. Not app component of CSS, but where's our styles? Cool. I'll actually probably rewrite styles.css to be a Sass file later. I just don't want to deal with the Area 51 Raid Squad, HMU? What the hell is HMU? HMU. Hit me up. Is that what the kids are saying nowadays? Alright, cool. So, what the hell? Oh, it's dash dash. Sorry, my brain is going. I just asked too much. Alright, cool. So now what we can do here, let's we can do background dash color, use var dash dash background color. Alright, cool. Alright. So that's gonna be the generic background color. It's not gonna be the color of our border, but I think this is probably where this should live. So now we've done that, we need the color of our border. So let's go into our footer component. Yeah, we have Font Awesome installed. That's correct. And we'll call this we'll call it background color as well. All right, cool. Now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and for our footer, we'll give it a background color of all right. And now we need to get this font color. Which is, and we'll come up with better names for this later on. I'm probably gonna restructure the SAS. I just haven't thought about it. It's not a really very sexy thing here to do for a but I'm storing in variables now so that I can do it later. Cool. All right. That's our footer. We do need the font though. Shit. We need to install the font for stuff, but all right. So close enough. We can install the font later, but oh, you know, we need some padding around that. So it looks like there's plenty of grid gap on the padding here, so we'll do padding and padding. So inherit for the top and bottom, and then we'll do 10px. What didn't I like about that? That might have been initial is what I wanted to do. Huh. I don't know why initial inherit is causing issues, but oh well. Cool. We have 20 pixels of padding on the end there. No, so there's not a preference. So for me, so here's my thought process, JW, about why I put, if we really want to dive deep into it. So this is our global style sheet, and thus when you talk about separations of concerns between breaking this out, so angular.json covers a lot, right? It covers build tools, it covers compiles, like compiling the global style sheets, configurations, all that, right? There's a lot going on here. To me, when we're talking about separations of concerns and you have a global style sheet, it's better to keep it in this location because now you have less convoluted things in your Angular JSON. That's really it. Is there a technical thing? No, but I think from a clean code perspective, to me, this feels cleaner. That's really it. But yeah, that's all. All right, cool. Now that we've done that, our footer's done, minus the fonts, but we'll come back to that. All right. Looks pretty close, right? Not perfect, but looks close, so we'll fix. I was just wondering, do web devs need to practice leak code? I mean, I practice algorithms. I didn't practice on leak code specifically, but could it hurt? All right, cool. Now that we've done that, what do we want to make next? The side nav, maybe? Ugh. So let me open up Balsamic real quick. And now that we've done this, let's go ahead and God, I always forget how to add this repo. Oh, we'll come back to it. We set it up. All right, let me open up something real quick. Open recent project. That wasn't it. Open recent. Oh. It's not it either. There we go, video docs. Alright, so design 2. So let's duplicate this. And what we want to do, so we have a general idea about our setup here, but what I think I want to do is call this menu open. Duplicate and then rename to menu closed. Rename that. And on menu close, let's go ahead and lock this in here. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to... Alright, so now we want to add an icon. So what I'm thinking is this, is that we close the menu to give a little bit more real estate if they want to collapse or open it. That's probably about right. And then how do we open it? They just click on something and it opens. Any item in there, it gets clicked on and opens. Let's see here. So you can also replace honestly, from a UI perspective, this should all be about the same height. So let's just make this. All right. Then we have that, and then we have our HTML. CSS. Oh my lord. Bring it down, dog. CSS. And then we have our Alright. So I think that's what's gonna be for the menu when it's collapsed. And then when it opens. Now the only thing that I'm a little like, how do we open the menu? Do you just click on something and it opens? That's the only thing I'm a little bit. Let me see if I can find how some other people do this. Yeah, so how I'm looking at it is that when you click on the icons, it opens it up. If it's not already open. Okay, I can get by with that. What do you guys think about that? I think this looks pretty good. So, good day, mate. Good day, mate, to you, too. By the way, guys, if you want to support me, you can through fan funding or checking out my courses, which are linked in the description below, where you can get them just for $9.99, such as my 100 Algorithm Challenge course, or my most recent course, the 100 Technical Front-End Questions, interview questions, to help you pass those technical screens. All right. Let's go ahead and build our side nav component here. And actually, if I want to get this right, this is how it's going to look. Now, this looks bad. It's a low resolution mock-up. I'm not sure what you're expecting it to look like. Also, if you have some constructive criticism of how you'd make it better, I'd love to hear it. You get the general idea here, though. Cool. All right. All right, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and npm start. Continue to do that. And UI UX can be improved upon. Sites oftentimes launch with multiple updates to UI UX down the road. But first thing first, we gotta get something out there. I don't think it's that bad, though. I think you're just an asshole. I'm just giving you a hard time at first. All right, so let's go ahead and get this side nav component built. Alright, cool. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and run our test again. Let me throw this in our app module. Now, we'll probably... So everything we've done right now is we plan on fully using an entire application. Like, app component obviously has to load. Footer component's going to be on every page. Side nav component's going to be on every page. But once we get past this initial mock-up, this homepage, we'll probably have to get started on some lazy loading of stuff. So let's make sure we don't break any tests. Everything works. Should be good to go. And this compiled. Yep. All right, cool. 7 test passing. Alright, now that we've done that, close this. Side component. Really 2 things we're going to worry about right now. Alright. So we need our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript icons. Our user icon. So let's create our general template here. Close that. Alright, so inside nav, we're going to need 2 files. Cool. Alright, so for now, let's just set the oh, whoops. Alright, cool. In here we'll have, do I do ULLI? Not really. I guess, you know what, we should actually for this. In LA times 5. Each one of these LIs will be actually already blockable elements. So alright, so let's go get a user profile, like a generic one for now. Or, well, actually, let's have like a site icon. Site, we'll just put site icon goes here. And we need to actually add this to the app component. Alright. And we'll worry about making it upright in a second. You just got my 100 front end interview course from Udemy. Nice, man. Good for you. I hope you enjoy it, man. I worked really hard on that course, and I think it's gonna do a lot of good for people. All right, now that we've done that, let's just go get some of these icons. All right, so we want HTML. HTML5. Copy that. That's going to be in here. We also want the search icon. Let's see, was there a better search icon? There's a lot of search. Alright. And now we need the CSS. What do you guys like better? CS3. CSS3. I think this one's probably the more recognizable one, right? And then we'll do CSS Grid is native to CSS. The only thing is that there are some minor compatibility issues with Internet Explorer 11, but the majority of it works in every modern browser. All right, cool. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and make them let's fix this UL. We don't want these dots, right? We don't want any of this margin, so. And I think that's probably a general, I don't know if it's a general thing. One thing you should notice is that I try not to muddy up my HTML, right? So I don't need to throw a class on this UL or this LI. I simply nest my selectors like I would expect it. Cool. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and give this a... What color would this be? So, all right, yeah, they didn't do a very good job on that. So, I think what we're gonna do here is, good morning, Alex. I think what we're gonna do is, I think I'm gonna use like a neon red for HTML. I like this idea. Like I want to do like a very neon-ishy color. All right, so for our LI, if there is an I dot fab dot fa dash HTML5. Jade Hendricks, will this be left up? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do about one live stream every weekend on my side projects. So yeah, I think so. I know this one will be. I can't promise that I will finish the entire course alongside you guys or this entire project, but you get the general idea. There we go. That looks spicy, right? I like that. Now let's go ahead and make these icons a little bit bigger. Alright, cool. And then for here, we'll do something like font dash size 20px. I think it registers as maybe a little bit bigger. 30px. Bam, son. That's looking good. Alright, so now we want a neon blue. I think I could probably move this .fab off things. I think I need that, yeah. All right, and then neon yellow. All right. see if we can get a little bit of a different neon, yellow, fluorescent yellow. Have I used BEM? Not in a very long time. I could understand the value of it. So my issue is BEM starts from a point of you have jacked up CSS, you need to fix it. If you're using a component framework like or enterprise framework like Angular, you can use very generic global styles, and if you follow semantic HTML, you don't need to use BEM. It also isn't a one case fits all sort of thing, which nothing is, but I'm not a huge fan of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Before we move forward, let's go. All right, now let's go ahead and set the background color. So it's going to be this color here. What color is that? Yeah. You're getting a degree in front end? Where do they teach a degree in front end development? I'm gonna go back to school and knock that out. No problem. Alright, cool, now that we've done that, on our nav, let's give this a Alright, cool. Almost there. I forget what this is. It's a grid, inline grid. Right? Am I going crazy? CSS inline dash grid. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh. I wasn't fully expecting that to happen. Alright, let's pull it back for a second. Have I looked in his felt? I haven't looked into it. Everyone's asking me about it, man. That's pretty sweet. Alright. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna set margin here to 0. And then li, we're gonna set margin here to 0. What is it? Margin that's putting this. What's putting this on here? Is it padding? Yeah, it's padding. Okay. Cool. All right. We're getting there. Now that we've done that, All right, now that we have this, let's space it out a little bit here. You notice that sometimes when I'm not the best with CSS, so you gotta play around with it. I can do okay, but that looks not too bad. Now we'll start there. All right. And you know what? I actually want this on my global style sheet. All right. All right. So now that we have this set up, what I want to do is force this footer to be on the bottom. I think it's just position. So I think that should do it. Cool. So now we have our footer that's always positioned on the bottom. Do I need that left 0? I don't think I need the left 0. Nice. I wasn't expecting that to happen. All right. For whatever reason, the position messed it up, so I think I need to, well, I don't think. It looks like I need to fix that. All right, so we'll go ahead and give this a width of 100%. That should solve any issues we have. I wonder if it's more correct to put 100 view width. 100W rather. No, it is VW, right? It's the same in this case, but I wonder what semantically is more correct. Probably 100 VW because it's more specific, huh? All right. Now that we've fixed our footer, have these icons, we need to make sure this doesn't take up the full amount. So we probably, when we have it extended, want it to go out about 300 px, right? Let's kind of close this a little bit. So we need to start dynamically adding classes. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? Oh, you know what? The other thing that we want to do is we have this nice little block here, and I kind of like this because it breaks up the menu. So I think what we're gonna do is just create this little. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to that. Right now, let's just get this menu to go the full height of what we're expecting. And in this case, we will jump back to our side nav to 100. Where are we? Nav. We'll do height equal to 100. View height. Cool. Next thing we need to do is fix it. We don't want this spaced out, right? So we'll do something like to be something like justify items. Well, we do want that, but we're not there yet. What I meant to say was justify content. No, it's a line. We're trying to do height. Sorry. God, there's so many of these fucking things. Line items baseline. Is baseline the top? Yeah, that's what we want. Align items baseline. Align content baseline. Alright, cool. Now that we have that, we'll go and create. So by default, we want the how do you auto refresh? You have a local server running, and that does it. Sorry, I gotta change up the tunes real quick. Alright. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take out this site because there's a little bit. We'll come back to this. And we'll come back to this search also. And I want to give each one of these LIs a little bit of padding. Yeah, we'll come back to that also. First, let's take care. So if it has a class called show, we want it to. All right, max width 300px. Cool. So will never be longer than 300 pixels. That looks good. That might even be too big based off of what our font size is going to be. 300 pixels fine. So that'll be our max width. Next thing we need to do here is have a collapse functionality. So let's open up our TS. You have to set up a local server at Ponconquisca. It's usually with your build tools, it should already be set up. Alright, so we're gonna have a variable here called isOpened. And by default, we'll set it to false. This will be a boolean. We set it to false. Alright. So by default, we're gonna have a boolean that says this is open, this isn't open. We'll play around with what that means in a second here. So now that we've done that, let's jump back into our testing. And when you're writing your test, you want to explain the intent. So like, I'll show you a bad test. Something would be like, is open, is false. And you'd go and you write the test as you would, right? The logic of the test would be the same. Or is opened. So anyhow, so when you write your test, and 99% of devs do this, and but they're all doing it wrong and incorrectly. So they'll say is opened is false, and then you'll write your expect, and you'll say something like component dot is open dot to be false, right? And if we go and we run our test, you'll see right here, it's going to return, you know, we have 8 of 8 successes failed. this is a bad test case. Now, what we actually want this to say is what the acceptance criteria or the expected result is from the business standpoint, because what we could say also is open, could change the variable name. What we would say is menu is closed. That's what we're expecting. So keep that in mind when you're writing your test cases. So on initialization, our menu is changed. It's closed. That's a better test case. Cool. Your test cases should reflect the business criteria or the expected result, not the technical logic. All right. So by default, we expect it to be closed. Now, what that means, let's jump back to here. Ugh, my back is killing me. Actually, let's go ahead and change this name real quick to is closed. Because change this to true. It'll just make our template logic look a little better. So what we're going to do, instead of having to throw a bunch of bangs on it everywhere, because that's what we're going to do right here, we're going to dynamically apply a class. Class dot is closed equal to is closed. All right. Now that we've done that, let's jump into our logic here. And this would actually be on here. Cool. Now, if it has the class dot is closed, we will set min-width to 50px. Or max width. Excuse me, we'll set width here. Just purely width. We could also overwrite max width. And now you see, we have exactly what we want. And we just have to play around with centering this a little bit. Not too bad. So, let's jump into here, and we'll toggle that in a second. But let's toggle what we have here. Hold there. There we go. Just 5 items. Cool. Instead of actually doing that, let me refresh this, because if we do that, we then have to manipulate what it is. What we can actually do is add a margin onto our UL, or padding. Yeah, I like that better. All right, cool. Oh man, God, I'm so sore. I went river rafting on some paddle boards yesterday with some colleagues, and I'm fucking feeling it today. We're getting old, boys and girls. All right, cool. Now, what we want to do is we want to toggle is closed. Public Open menu. Actually, let's say this toggle menu. Well, I don't want to toggle it per se. Actually, this is going to be two different functions. Public open menu. And this will be of, it's not returning anything. And all we're going to say is this dot is closed is equal to false. Great. Now, on our actual icons themselves, we are going to, and this would maybe, the fact that I'm putting this on each one of these would make me want to actually put this on here. So open menu, and so if I click on the search, bam, it opens exactly like we expect. I'm feeling old, man. Mike. Feeling old and crickety. Old and crickety. If anyone wants to know what I'm listening to, I'll paste in the stuff into chat for you. Yeah, it won't let me paste it in. Error, try again. All right. Well, I'm listening to the best of NCS 2017 mix. All right. So now that we've done that. Cool. I'm going to order an icon on Fiverr real quick. I'll do it later. But okay, so that the issue now becomes, how do we want to close the menu? I think on site here we have a close, like a close icon. So like on the float on the right over here, a button that closes it. Yeah, a little carrot. That'd look good. Okay, let's do that. What the hell is that little carrot called? Oh, chevron. Yeah, that's what it's called. Alright, so we have to... First off, we only want to show this if is closed. Excuse me. Not as close if it's open. Alright, cool. Alright, now. Alright, so we want to, in this case, if it's our first child, we want to float this. This icon's a little bit too big, so what's the font size of this LI? That's not what I want. Isn't there normally a computed thing here? I don't play the victim card? What victim what do you mean, man? Where's my computed? There should be a computed thing here. Yeah, it's not there. Am I going crazy? Is computed not there? I see. I see. Hey Ben, how you doing, man? What the fuck is the font size? I just... Your post? You talking about Code Tech and Caffeine? Let me see here, man. Yeah, sure. There you go. All right. Huh. What the fuck is the font size? Alright, you know what? We'll just make one up. 15 pixels looks good. All right. How's your job at PwC? I like it, man. I've been loving it more and more. It started a little rough. You know, anytime you start a new job, it's a little bit rough. But every single week, I'm happy that I'm there. So it's been working out nice. Yeah, I've been enjoying it though. All right, cool. Now what we want to do, give this an ID, just make it easier on ourselves. Site dash logo. Actually, probably just logo, right? How long does it take to be a beginner? It all depends on how much time you put into it, man. I make a lot of money and do very well for myself because I've put in a lot of time. I mean, like take for instance right now. Let's just take this live stream for instance. I'm building a video documentation site. It happens to be in the technologies that I use at work. And what have we been going for? An hour and 44 minutes. Damn, the time has passed. An hour and 44 minutes. Yo. I'm about that life, you know what I'm saying? But cool, yeah, so I mean, on a Sunday, putting in my time, boy. Putting it in. Cool. Now that we've done that, on this hashtag logo, we want to we'll make this a grid, and then we'll say something like, actually, let's do that there for a second. I think all I really want to do is float this right. The onboarding process sucks at every job place. All you can really say is that, so like, there isn't much of an onboarding I take it back. So technically, like from the business perspective, you have 3 months of onboarding materials, because they really want to make sure they understand the business, what they're trying to do, and you know how to be how to stay valuable, and how to you know succeed at the company. Now, cool. We need to make that. From a code perspective, it's always going to be rough no matter what company you're at. It's just the nature of the beast. I think we did 15 pixels, right? What was it that we did on the pixel side? Padding dash left 12 pixels. So we're going to create a variable here. And then in our logo for our icon, we're going to say padding right equal to side padding. All right. But yeah, so I would say terms of putting in the time, man, just I don't know, man. I put in the work. I'm grinding. So as long as you grind, you'll get better every day. You know, are you gonna make $150,000 a year, like me, relatively quick? I don't know, man. It depends on you. Are you going to, you know, are you gonna grind? Are you gonna job hop? Are you gonna negotiate? You know, there's a lot of these things. There's a lot of things that factor into this. Is what I'm trying to say. Now, just keep on moving forward, and you'll keep on moving forward. Keep on putting the time in, and you'll get better and better and better. All right. I think I forgot to write a test for this, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. Menu is closed. I added a function, didn't I? Open menu. Yep. Oh. No. This is I was like, it failed. Never. There we go. All right. Cool. But yeah, in terms of, so at any organization, in terms of onboarding process, always varies. When it comes to code, it's honestly one of those items where you onboard as quickly as you want to onboard, is how I always put it. What I mean by that is, you know, developers are busy, people are busy, they're bringing you in because they need more people. So the expectation that they're going to sit there and hold your hand is really not a good one. But what they should be doing is, if you have any questions and you get stuck, is they should be there to help you through that. I think that's a reasonable expectation, and that's what I expect when I start a new job. All right, cool. So we're gonna make this a display grid. Grid dash template columns. We'll do auto 1FR. Grid dash. So center, and then but when it comes to, all right, so PHP versus Node. So Node.js is growing, PHP is shrinking, generally speaking. You also make less money with PHP than you do Node. So that's sort of my thought on it. PHP had its moment. This moment has passed, as far as I'm concerned. But then again, I don't like PHP, so maybe I'm biased. Alright, cool. And then this item, justify self, and alright. Let's see if we set this shit up right. Cool, you go and click any of these. That didn't work. What in the fuck? Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Or no, I don't know what it is. That looks like it should have worked. Alright, let's jump back to it real quick. This should... I see. I see. I think I see. So, we need to wrap this in something. Yeah. Let's actually make this like an H6. Event. Yeah, I see now. Ooh, buddy. That's looking spicy. A little too spicy. I don't want to have to go and to take care of the heading. And honestly, this isn't going to be a text thing eventually anyhow. So, in logo, for now we'll say span, display block. Alright, let's see if I fix this. I'm mainly front end. What's my YouTube equipment set up? I mean, it's just my personal computer. Wait, what? Oh. I think that's it. There we go. Forgot that little and there. Alright, we did it, boys. We did it, Reddit. Alright, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to write a simple function that closes it. Oop. Alright, let's go real quick into styles.css. And icons typically in our application are going to have a cursor. So one thing, does Webpack take care of login forms? No. Alright, cool. Anything that's an action, I like to put the pointer on. Can I help you create a register and login form, please? If you'd like to pay my hourly rate of $150 an hour, I'd love to help you. But as you can see, I'm doing things that benefit me right now, directly. But yeah, man, I don't have time to help everybody. I do mentoring and pair programming code reviews. If you want me to review your code, that's something I can do as well. I charge much less for that though. All right, so cool. Now let's go ahead and update our test real quick. Oh, and also we need to take this out of initialization. These aren't our initializations. Close this menu. All right. So we close the menu. We make our cert. CSS Grid is supported in all major browsers. CSS Grid, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, partial support for IE. Also, Flexbox controls one direction. You can use both interchangeably, but the reason I like to use Grid is I like to control the horizontal and vertical for things. It also allows some really nice stuff when we, in terms of shuffling around content in different orders, which Flexbox doesn't do a great job of. If I remember, Slumsy, your work has you working in IE. I don't support IE in personal projects or in corporate projects. I don't give a shit about IE. And you shouldn't either. Something like 2.5% of people use IE, and it's all corporate. Matter of fact, when I'm done here with this project, I'll write a node server that blocks IE users from using my site until they go get a real browser. All right, cool. And our tests are running. Everything's good. So now that we've done that, we have our little sidebar nav. We have our footer. Let's look back at what we have. This was going to be like our user profile, or is internet's going to be using V8s. We could make something like this. We don't know what search is going to quite be yet. Honestly, at this point, let's actually just even take search out. Because search is going to be one of the last features we come to. I do understand the struggle, but why the hell would I, in a personal project, even a web app I'm releasing to the public, write something? First off, if you're using Internet Explorer, you're not going to be on my fucking developer tool site. Because if you're a developer, you use something other than Internet Explorer. All right, cool. So we've created this. Excellent. Everything's looking pretty good. We took care of this. I'm thinking we want to do something like this. I actually kind of like this. I don't like the menu name, but I was thinking, like, forget the text. Let's just put this little bar here. Would that look weird? Put this little bar here, to add like a separation, because eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have site. We're going to have our like site logo there and this and that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Sit down for a bit. Oh my god, my back is... Oh, my shoulder blades, man. Alright, I think we got our side nav to a point that I'm somewhat happy with. I want to get this logo made, and this icon is going to have to obviously change. We can barely see this. We'll come back to that, though. I'm not too worried about that right now. But I think we can say... Any Tampa meetups for PHP, just look on Meetup. All right, now that we've done that, by the way, check out my courses, guys, if that's something you're interested in prepping for those technical interviews. I think this is pretty good. Now, the next main part, anyhow, is just this. But we could hard code this, but we're going to set up a router. And because we're going to need that for our next thing. And we're going to set up these 3 icons and some text and make it all look A-okay. I think a nice, like, little... What do you think about, like, a nice little HR tag here? I'll come back to this. We're going to style this a little bit better later. Okay. So let's set up our router here. Set up our router and our home view. So up until now, we haven't dealt with views, really. We haven't really made this a single page application yet. It's a single page, a single static page. So now I'm going to be trying out something new that I've been thinking about for a bit, that I read that I kind of liked. So far we've been dealing with our main app component, right? And then we have our components that are a part of that. Now, these components here are really for the app component. What I want to create within app is a folder called views. Now, I don't necessarily suggest doing this, but this is something that I wanted to try. So within our views, we're going to have various views. So like home, for instance, is going to be our home, which is going to be a component, but it explains the intent a little bit and breaks it down a little bit differently. Now, not every app is going to work very well with this, but this one I think is going to be fine. So whoops. Cool. So before we do anything, let's just make sure that this is working. And go to app component.html. I see. So we need to take care of this, right? We need to make this its own section. The way that we're going to do that, go into our app component.css. Do algorithms like big O notation matter in web development? They matter for the interview process. All right. Let's go ahead and rename this to SCSS. Go to app component, SCSS. Cool. Did it actually do that? Usually it blows up, so we'll restart just in case. All right, now that we've done this, close this real quick, and close that, close that, close that. We're gonna need that, close that. Let's just do this, close all. All right, cool. So, but do I reuse it in real life? No. Div dash. Hey, actually. Well, the router would really be the main, wouldn't it? How does it actually render? Yeah. I don't want to put this as main. Fuck it, I'll put it as main. Nah, div dash. Div dash main dash container. I might rethink that name. Big O notation refers to the amount of iterations for something to go through, and there's better amount of iterations, and it refers to how they increase in scale. All right, so let's make that an ID. Let's try this. Site container. I think that's a little bit cleaner. All right. So we're gonna make this a grid as well. We're going to have a grid dash template columns, and what's it going to be is auto 1FR, and then why Angular and not Vue? A lot of reasons. One, I think Angular has a lot more features that I like. Two, it's Vue isn't as well developed quite yet. And three, I think Angular is a little bit easier to test in than Vue. That's all. There's nothing wrong with Vue. I worked at Vue at my last job. I like it. I just prefer Angular. Like for me, I do Angular, Vue, then React. Actually, before I even get to React, I probably go look at Svelte and see if it's any good. All right. Side nav. We're gonna have to come back to this because we're gonna change that to a router, and then we'll call this footer do app dash footer. And here we have actually we don't even need this because we've already taken care of this. I don't think I can use hyphens for my grid areas. It's been a while since I've done it, but I want to check real quick. I think that's gonna blow up and not work. Oh, did work. All right, cool. Nice. Okay, so you can see we have our grid area here. Now that we have that rendering, what we actually want to do is add a Angular router. Sorry, Sunday morning. Yeah. Let me go find some music. All right, so Angular router. I mean, I know, I guess, yeah, let's just take care of the router. So, create a new folder. We'll call this routes. And in here, we'll create a new file. What do we want to call? We'll just call this routes.ts. In here, we're going to export some routes. Call this app routes. And this will be of type route. Routes, I should say. All right. And so far in here, we're going to have one route. Path will be the home page. And in here, we will have a component. And that will be the home component. type should exist. Let me get a second here. Do I need to install anything? Oh, I think I need to install the router module. New file. Router module.tx. Yeah, no, I know that it should import, but I don't understand. It, for whatever reason, routes isn't coming up. It should. Do I need to install Angular router? That's what it is. Oh no, it's there. All right, so there we go. All right, I got it. Thank you. I was just surprised that the it wasn't picking it up with the IntelliSense. So, all right, cool. So we have our route set up. Next, we have to set up our router module. Let's go ahead and rename this actually to this one. Cool. Well, once we get this up and running, we'll make it lazy load as well. Cool. I suppose we don't have to have this here, but let's go to our app module. And in here, in our browser module, we'll import our routes. What am I building today? A video documentation site, the home page, some of the setup as well, like setting up the all right, so now that we did that, if we go to what do we need? Our router outlet? I forget. Yeah. Let's jump into app component. So to app home, router outlet, and close that, close that, close that. Change our CSS. All right. What do you think, boys? You think we got this working? That's going to be a negative. What happened here? Let's try it one more time. Looks like we got it running on a couple. Alright, let's try this again. I'll grab another. Alright. See if our router module works. All right. Bet it's because we have this in here. I'll just do it directly. That doesn't really need to be its own module anyhow. Alright, so it's not blown up, but we did break our CSS. Cool. Well, not cool, but you know what I'm saying. Move that there. Alright, cool. I believe that fixed the import pass. All right. So we are having some CSS issue here. Let's go ahead and dive in and see in here what the issue is. Oh. That's not supposed to happen like that. Interesting. Let me try one thing real quick. So Huh. That shouldn't be happening like that. I eventually will connect to a database that I create, yeah. Let's do this. Alright. I think the router outlet just, we can't target it directly, or anyhow, this will work just fine. We'll figure, if this becomes a larger issue, we may have to handle it. Wait, what? I see. Okay, if I remember correctly, I set a max width. And when we go to our app component here, I do auto. We want to do 1FR. That'll be fine because I set a max width here. So I'll go to the 300 pixels we have set up, yeah. Okay. Wait, what? No. Okay. Alright. Change that to auto. Change this to width 300px. There we go. And we can also go back and take out this max width. Cool. Alright, so now that we've done that, we need to take our home component, center it, add some icons, and then we'll do lazy loading. And then I think, what are we going right now? We've been going about 2.5 hours. That'll wrap us up around 3 hours. I think that's a good, we'll have accomplished what we wanted to do for the most part, which was create this general layout for the home page. We're going to have to expand out this. We're still going to have to build out this, but this will come after with the next page. Cool. Alright. Close that. And actually, let's go ahead and make a... Let's make a commit here. Oh man, I'm hungry. I hope April got my text about making food. Alright, cool. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, views. So after our views on home, we'll have category pages. So I'm just going to create a generic category. We'll come back to that. That's what those icons represent. So, all right, cool. So here we're gonna have H1 videos. Actually, before I move forward, what we actually want is not a router outlet. This is our main. And we want to go save that, and we go to our app component .html. Main. And I might have to make that a block. I always forget if main is a block level element. Cool. All right. That's just better semantically. We have our side nav, we have our main, we have our footer. All right. One thing to note is, you notice I go and change things that sort of context changes. I think that's kind of important. So the reason for it is you want your code to be easy to follow, even in the CSS. You have an idea, why not? All right. Let's go back. We want the 3 icons from earlier. Why not make those icons its own component? The copy paste is needed unless they won't be used anywhere. So mainly how these interact are different, right? These icons are going to have router links. These are going to open the menu. You could though. It's definitely something to consider. Yeah. Also, these icons. I mean, so like, here's the thing: is like, we have these icons. Where are we gonna pass the strings in? You could, and if they got any more complex, it'd be something to consider. But there is a, typically you don't have this in applications, but there is a level of going too deep and making things too automatized. That is something to consider as well. And mind you, this is just like, these three will probably be on the homepage always, but these are just three we're starting with, right? So, okay, H1. Let's jump back to here. What I will definitely be doing is probably something with these. This is definitely something that needs to be handled for the colors. Is eventually I'll have this in its own file. Oh, all right, boys and girls. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at our handiwork for the day. Oh, you know I forgot to do lazy loading, but create our footer. We did this, this, and that. We have a nice little grid gap here, and honestly, I think we could probably remove that. I think it's a little bit too much padding right there. Like, let's jump back into here. Do I use NGX or NGRX? Not too much. A lot of people are so worried about state management, but the reason they think they need state management is because they haven't created a very good application. And if you make your application better and more intuitive, and there's a lot of ways of doing that, then you don't even need to try and install this state management stuff. Alright, cool. So there's that. Now let's go ahead and take care of lazy loading. It's been a while since I've done lazy loading. Alright, so cool. Let's close this, close this. Alright, can you lazy load your homepage? Let's see. You might not be able to lazy load your homepage because it's you might have to have a route set, but let's create a new file here. And we'll call this. I've never tried to lazy load the homepage, but we're gonna figure it out right now. All right. Well, yeah, so the harmony is, I get that there's no point of lazy loading right now, but we're setting it up right now because we like it's a small app, right? But we're setting it up because there will be more parts of the application. So just set it up now, right? It's sort of like the same reason that I write some of these silly tests. Oh, speaking of which, we didn't do this. Like, oh, it exists. It's defined. The reason I write that is not because I think they're super helpful tests. It's to get the test going and the initial setup so that, like, no one, you know, you're like, you write the test to get the test file going so that you make sure that you come back to it and all that sort of stuff. Does that make sense? It's like setting a good standard, like good precedent. Like this test right here basically just says, hey, do we have a home component from this file? Meaning, like, did you delete it accidentally? It's not the best test, right? But we write this to get things, to get us in these good practices and get going. So that when we do have good tests, we're good. So I'll run our test, make sure everything's passing. So not only do we do this, it's everything we've done here is fully tested, right? Not the UI, but in terms of logic, which has really just been the opening and closing of the menu and then making sure things exist. But we have 12 tests in our application, essentially on the home page. So take that out of there, close that. In our home module, we have our home component. Now we need to jump to app routes and we're going to lazy load. We're going to change that to load children. Put a string in here, and that's going to be app/views/ home.module #home module. Now, if we did this right, we should have been able to lazy load our application. Everything should work. Now, there might be a piece of logic in Angular that says you have to have at least your index.html page or your one page. Could not resolve home module for app/views/ oh, all right, fix the route. It looks like it might work because it's trying to find it /home. Essentially, couldn't find that what it was trying to look for. Cannot find module app/views/home module. Let's see here. Copy path. Oh, you know what? I know why. It's because it's not relative to where we're at. So if we're in routes, this should be relative to where we're at. So if we're in routes, let's say we want to get the home module. This is what we need. Ugh. Oh, you know what? They changed load children in Angular 8. Let's see here. So load children actually takes in an arrow function. Why didn't you tell me that shit? Ugh. What will video docs do? You can think as a W3 schools, but with videos. Alright, so if I did that correctly. I might have to load the main index page. Forgot to configure child rendering. Alright, that might be it. So let's go to our app module. No provider for children outlet contacts. I'm getting conflicting info here. Yeah, I'm trying to debug it right now. I honestly think it's because I'm trying to lazy load the index.html page. Oh, shit. I forgot to do this. I got it. I need to, so I have the for root in the main one, and then for the child, I forgot to do the for child. That's where I was messing up. So this is fine, but when we go to our home module, we need to have an imports here. In this case, there aren't any additional routes for this one. I think that's it. We'll find out, man. Let's see here. Okay, now I got it. I got it now. I know what's going on. Okay, so now that we have our for child, so, okay. I know exactly what's going on. So our home module here, excuse me, our app module uses this routes. Where's routes? So routes here, all we're telling it here is load the home module. In here, we have to pass in the routes that we want. So in our case, it's just an array with an object in here. And remember what we had before? So from this path, it's still going to be an empty path, but now we're going to have a component. We're going to essentially move our stuff. So there's our home component. And now we're going to, in routes here, will be of type routes. And we are going to pass in routes. And we'll make this look cleaner in a second, but I'm almost positive that this is what this is. Bam! There it is. Lazy loaded. That's it. Anyhow. So we're lazy loading the home page, but we have to tell it, this is telling it to load the module, but then we have to tell it based on the child routes where it goes. All right. A little bit of setup there. No big deal. Let's clean up some of these unused dependencies. That looks good. That looks good. Cool. There we go there. Alright, cool. And let's actually rename this. Where's our routes? Alright. Just want to make sure that works. Cool. Alright. Good stuff. So we got our app routes. We have... delete this old folder. We have our app module. We have our home module. It's lazy loaded. Our home component. Sweet. So let's review, and I'll take about 5-10 minutes to answer questions. So what we set up today was we created our side nav. It opens, it closes. We're going to add an animation. We're going to make it look a little bit better. We set up our routing here. We set up our footer here. We need to add some fonts and stuff like that. We need to create a global like CSS SAS variables for these things, the reference, and we make this a little bit nicer and cleaner. But we set up our routing, and we also set up lazy loading for the homepage, which isn't a very big component. You don't really need it, but and we also did we have, how many tests do we have? 12, something like that. No, it's more than 10. 12 tests. Yeah, we have 12 tests written for the application, so we can go back and touch those things. We do it. So let's go and set that up. Set up home component and lazy loaded home. Cool. Alright guys, so we did quite a bit today. This is probably gonna be part of my new series where I just wanna, so I haven't been feeling like really making YouTube videos because I'd rather spend time coding. So I decided that maybe one good thing that could come out of this is let's just code. You know, I've always been one of those people that like I want to do what I want to do with YouTube, and you know, sometimes that means that the audience doesn't get what they want. But it allows me to progress as a developer and enjoy myself while I do this, so I continue to do it long term, right? So, is this an every Sunday stream? It's going to be a Saturday or Sunday. It's going to be swap off, but we'll see, man. So probably next week, what I'll do is I'll do the category pages. So I have to go and, so like, remember when I was in Balsamic and I was designing some of this stuff, just some low resolution mock-ups, so like based off what we have here, right? So I'm gonna do something very similar, and I'll do what like I think the HTML or CSS or JavaScript page should look like and go from there. And oh, you know what, we still need to add the text here, so I'll go and I'll add the text to these things and make it look a little bit nicer and see what it's all about. And by then I'll have the fonts, know what fonts are, because I'll get someone to look at the Adobe Illustrator stuff. But yeah, I'll continue doing it. So yeah, it's not a bad day, man. We doesn't really like, dude, all you did was create a single homepage. Sort of. You could look at it that way if you want to be a little bit pessimistic, but I think what we did was we started a project, we got it going, and we completed our task at hand in about 3 hours while live streaming. Set up some nice stuff. Set up routing, lazy loading. It's tested. So it's been pretty good. And next we'll do the category page. That's going to take a little bit while because homepage, simple page. We have to think about it, about what it is I want on the category page, and then the item details or the details page, which is, the Mac Daddy. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to next week's. If you have any questions, throw them in here real quick because I'm about to dip and go get some lunch. I haven't even had breakfast. And what we'll do next week is the category. I'm going to go design it probably later today. There we'll dive deeper into the router module because now we're going to take params from the, so we're not going to hard code those pages, right? Those categories are going to be in a nice route that's going to pass along some parameters that we're going to then subscribe to or get and then go and hit an API or something like that. In this case, it's probably going to be a hard-coded JSON until I build the backend. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video if you liked it. Of course, if you're interested in any of my courses, such as the 100 Algorithm Challenge or my latest course, the 100 Front-End Interview Question Challenge, which goes over all the items that you would need to know for a technical screen for the front end in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, as well as some tips and tricks to sort of get noticed and land those jobs. You can get it in the description for just $10. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.